Guys, we did it. We did it.
We did it. We did it, Joe.
Or more like I did it. But I finished reading Shadow and Bone. Yes. Welcome to Sydsceneit, and this video is going to be a little different because I'm talking about a book instead of a movie or a TV show, but the book is what the TV show is based off of, so kind of still talking about a TV show in a way, but we're really just going to be talking mostly about the Shadow and Bone book. So if you watched my Shadow and Bone trailer reaction video, then you know that I set a goal for myself to actually read the book this time before the show comes out, because that's like been a recent problem of mine of not knowing the source material a lot of these movies and shows. So I really wanted to change that this time around. And read the book, and also read the book before the show came out, and I did it with about like a week to spare as of the filming of this video. So I am super excited to talk to you guys about this. I feel somewhat more prepared about watching the show. I'm not an expert or anything, like not even close. In fact, as you'll see, I have a lot of questions about this book even after reading it, but I do feel like I'm not going into the show completely blind, which was what I wanted. Rather than sit here and kind of talk to you guys just about the book and summarize it and yada yada yada, I wanted to do something different and switch it up and basically go full booktuber. If you've ever watched any people who do book reviews or things like that on YouTube, there's like a whole category out there. But a lot of them do these things that are like reading vlogs or kind of read with me videos. So I decided, maybe mistakenly, that that's what I should do too, because I really wanted you guys to get like my real-time reactions and my immediate thoughts as they came to me while I was reading this book. So that's why I did this. Yeah. I have the footage. I will warn you, it's full of bad lighting, bad camera angles, trash audio at times. So I want to apologize in advance for all of that. Hopefully you'll stick around long enough to hear my final consensus on the book, my thoughts, my favorite moments. Also a spoiler warning, because I do give away some probably important plot points while I was vlogging. Please enjoy this very cringeworthy and embarrassing vlog footage. Okay, we have made it to the mall, and we are going to go to the bookstore and try and pick up this book. I already tried Target, and that was a fail, but I'm sure the bookstore will have it. It's a Books A Million, so yeah, we're gonna go get it, and we'll secure the bag, aka securing the book. Okay, bye. Hi guys, so I just finished shooting a video that I'm probably going to edit tomorrow. It's almost 1 a.m., which honestly, oh yes, I'm in my bathroom by the way, because it's 1 a.m. and I should be asleep, but I am probably going to stay up a little longer and read. I got the book yesterday. I haven't started it yet because I got busy doing some things yesterday and yada yada yada. So, but I did want to show you guys the book in all its glory, because I don't think I showed that the other day when I actually bought it. But this is the cover. It's actually very pretty. Now I don't think this is the original cover. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. But this is the cover that is currently out, and as you can see, the little Netflix show sticker is there. So yeah, almost 1 a.m. and I'm probably gonna read for like maybe an hour or so. We'll see, because like I said, I finished a video and I actually want to wake up early tomorrow and edit it. So maybe like I'll probably, yeah, so maybe I'm thinking like an hour, and we'll see how it goes, and I will update you next time. Hello, and welcome back to my reading vlog. I don't really know. It is currently just after 1:30 a.m. It's been, I think, about a day or so since my last update. But just wanted to let you guys know where I'm at in Shadow and Bone. So I read a little bit earlier today, and honestly, I don't know what I was thinking in my trailer reaction video where I talked about reading like an excerpt of the book, and I don't know why I thought I didn't read, like I don't know why I thought the excerpt wasn't as long as it was, because I'm going back through this, like I got all the way to chapter 6 and like recalled pretty much reading all of this through. So this, the first 5 chapters were pretty much just like a refresher, and I hadn't realized before that I had even read that much of this book, so that was surprising. But yeah, we got to chapter 6, and Alina has been at the castle, and she has met some of the other Grisha, and she has met the king and the queen. That just happened where I'm at now, and I don't know if I'm still in chapter 6 or not, but past that point, that's what has happened so far. And right now I don't have like too many in-depth thoughts character wise. Like I don't have any thoughts about Alina at the moment. I do have some thoughts about the Darkling. Have thoughts about him because he so the moment I just read, he like showed some defiance towards the king, him and I don't know how to say her name, Ginia. Basically like they were talking about the king. So you can tell like there's like some weird dynamic between him and the king, or maybe it's just like the Grisha and royalty, I don't know, but getting some weird vibes already. And there was a moment that just happened where he was telling Alina like to pick the color of her what do you call it, a kefta, like the coat, like their coat or whatever, like their garments that they wear. Is it called a kefta? Kefta? And he was like, wear a black one. And then Alina was like, I'm gonna wear a blue one. Interesting moment. Why he wants her to wear his colors, why he wants her to wear black. Interesting. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a little after 1:30, but I'm like not too tired. Like I'd probably be up at this point anyway, so might as well spend it reading. Hello again. I just started reading and I forgot a point that I wanted to talk about in terms of like how the Grisha work and the hierarchy and how the powers work. I just feel like at this point I don't understand how it's all divided up. Like there's the little kind of description thing at the beginning of the book. So there's this kind of like breakdown of how the Grisha is like organized, or I guess divided up with their powers, and like kind of the 3 categories, and then the specific powers or types of variations of those categories. I'm still not exactly sure how they work and I don't even know what each thing means. Like what is Earth Realky? I don't know how to pronounce them. And then like within that they have like these 3 things, like what's Inferni and Tide Makers. Like I imagine, or I can come up with an idea of what those are, but I feel like that hasn't really been explained. We've met Jinya, or however you pronounce her name, and she can like change people's characteristics, physical features, but yet she's a servant. But then the other Grisha is just I don't understand it right at this second. So I'm finding issue with that, and I don't know if it's just me like not, I don't know if I'm like grazing over details that I missed, but I'm like trying to take my time and understand, but I just feel like that's something that hasn't been fully fleshed out yet, or I'm just have missed the point and it went over my head and I need to like go back and read it or something. But that's something that's kind of making it difficult to get through because I don't understand the breakdown of the powers and how all of that works. So just had to add that point, and we'll get back to reading now. Hi guys, it's Saturday and I'm currently working today, but I'm on break right now. I have about a little over 15 minutes left before my break is up, and so I figured it is the perfect time to read. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and get a little reading in. Hello again. So, book update. We are at chapter 13. Excuse me, chapter 13. And basically, what has happened is Alina has just had a revelation and she has awoken her powers because at this point, she hasn't been able to summon her light, and she was just really struggling out here at the palace with the other Grisha. But she had this revelation, and basically what she realized is that she suppressed her powers like subconsciously when she was a little kid. And that was the result of her being separated from Mal. And basically she has kind of like let go of her attachment to him, essentially, is how I interpreted it to be what happened. And that in turn allowed her to release her powers. And I have to laugh because it's like, I can't be the only one that has thought of this analogy, that basically like this man was basically draining her, and for what? Like, she didn't have an appetite, she had dark circles under her eyes, she wasn't sleeping properly because she was so obsessed with Mal, and like he didn't even have decency to like return her letters, you know? Like, now granted, Mal and Alina, like, they obviously have like this connection because they were orphans together and they went through some tough times together and yada yada yada. But at the same time, it's like, girl, this man is literally like holding back your power. Like, he has he has a grip on your power. Like, you need to, in order to come into your power, you have to let this man go. Like, it just got like really deep all of a sudden. Which was, I was not expecting. I mean, she got swept up with and taken away to these Grisha, and like, what, you don't care about her anymore? It's just, so I just found that really interesting, and that is kind of a theme or like a concept that was presented in this book. Very interesting. I have some other things that I'm confused about. Like, we've talked some about amplifiers, and I'm just, well, like I said before, like the whole concept of like how the powers work is still not making much sense to me. And then I don't know how to say her name, Bagra Bara, I don't know how to say it, but I'm trying to figure out who she is, like what her deal is exactly. Like I know she's an amplifier too, but what part of the part of the Grisha is she, does she fall under technically? I'm really still confused with the powers, but that's just an interesting point with Alina finally coming into her powers that I just thought was interesting. I want to talk about because honestly, I'm happy it finally happened because I was getting to the point where I was like, okay, girl, we've been here for how long? Like it's turned to winter now. Like we need to make something happen here, and I'm glad it finally did. So yeah, so we're gonna see what happens from this point on. Hi guys, update on Shadow and Bone. Oh my gosh, I don't know why my hair is so messy and my nose is so red. Like I look sickly, but I swear I'm fine. Anyways, we are literally in the home stretch right now. I don't exactly know how many pages are left. Definitely under 100. It might even be under 50 at this point. I got a lot of reading done like the past few days since my last update. That's because one night I even read till like 4 a.m., which was not advisable, but I did it anyways. And we covered a lot of ground with that point. Alina escaped the castle because it was revealed the Darkling's like real intentions, but Bagra, she kind of clued Alina into what was going on, and so she helped her escape. And she, was on the run, and then she met up with Mal and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to recant my statements that I said earlier about Mal because I don't know. I'm just like, I don't really care for him at this point. I don't really care about like his and Alina's relationship. Like I'm just not invested. And even though the Darkling was like manipulating Alina and using her, and totally his intentions weren't sincere, I just liked that dynamic better. And I don't know what that says about me as a person, but her relationship with Mal is just like very, it's just so like, I don't know the word I want to say. It's definitely predictable, like you knew it was gonna happen. But I don't know, something about it is just like so. I had gone on that whole rant about her like being free. Like this man had a grip on her and she was like being free, and then like now she's like, honestly, I feel like she's like right back in his clutches again, and I just don't know how I feel about that. Not that I want her in another man's clutches, i.e. the Darkling, but I just, I want her to be free of all men at this point because like men are doing nothing for her. They either want to use her or they hold her back. It's just like, girl, can we get rid of both, honestly, at this point? So that's where I'm at. But it got really predictable. It's getting really predictable like so far. I mean, of course, the Darkling caught back up to them. Like we knew that wasn't gonna work. And now they're about to go into the fold. I think like we're right at the moment where they're gonna go into the fold because she just spent the night with Mal in jail. So, but I feel like, is it gonna be a cliffhanger? I mean, I know there's 2 other books, so yeah, probably, but I wonder what's gonna happen. So far, no big complaints. The book is fine. It's fine. I still have my issues with it, which I'll probably talk about at a different time. At this point, I am excited at least to watch the show, and I feel like from the trailer, I feel like there's definitely people we haven't met in this book who showed up in the trailer. I haven't even looked up like the cast list or anything like that, so I really don't even know like who all is in it and whatnot, except for Ben Barnes. But we'll see about a second book. I really don't know at this point. I need to gather my thoughts about this first one before we even start thinking about that. So yep, we're gonna finish reading and we'll be done. Bye. All right, so I hope you enjoyed me vlogging about Shadow and Bone. So, my thoughts on this book. Was it my favorite fantasy novel that I've ever read? No, not really. Not at all, actually. But I also have to remember that this book is geared towards a younger audience as well. Amazon says like the target age group is between 12 and 18, and I am not that. Um, and so I have to keep that in mind. But even so, compared to like other young adult fantasy novels that I've read, this just wasn't like top tier for me. If I had read this book maybe in high school, it probably would have been a different situation, but reading it as an older person, it just didn't hit the same, you know? And especially compared to like, well, now I'm reading more adult aged up fantasy novels, so it just doesn't compare at all. But yeah, it was fine. It was okay. So one of my big issues with the book, and I think it reflected in my vlog footage, I think I mentioned it a whole bunch of times actually, was just kind of like not necessarily the world building itself, but maybe just the powers within the Grishaverse. Something in this book just wasn't connecting with me in terms of how the powers actually work. I think in other fantasy novels that I've read, it's just so clearly defined how the powers work, and how things are categorized and the hierarchy of things. And I just felt like it was just tough for me personally to kind of understand how it all works. I think I pointed it out in my blog, but if you, one of the first pages on this book is kind of a breakdown. I don't know if it'll focus or not, but there's this breakdown here at the front of the book, and it kind of breaks down how the Grisha powers work. And I, for one, kept referring to this page throughout the whole time I was reading. And for me, that just made it kind of less enjoyable. I just felt like if I have to keep coming back and forth, that's just, that's not what I'm looking for in my book, I want it to be clearly defined and not me having to go back to the reference page every couple of pages to try and figure out, well, okay, now what does this power do? Now who do they fall under? And then what colors do they wear? It was just a lot. It was just a lot for me. So that was probably my biggest negative thing about this book. I did go to the like Shadow and Bone Grishaverse wiki fandom page, and that really helped break some things down for me. If you do happen to read this book and you're finding that you have trouble understanding things like I do, that would probably be a good resource to go to, because I was struggling. I really was, as you probably saw. I thought that the book got a little bit predictable, kind of about 3/4 of the way through. And as for the characters, I think I just didn't feel super connected to them all the way. I feel like if I were to read the other 2 books that are part of this series, I might, come to like them more or something like that. They were fine. Like the main character Alina and then Mal, who was the other big character, they were fine. But then I found myself kind of wanting to know more about other characters that we meet in the book. For example, we do know a decent amount about the Darkling, but I personally, I really want to know, what's his story? What's his deal? How did he come to be the way that he is? What is he all about? And I also like Jenya. I feel like her story would be very interesting because she has this really unique power that kind of falls in a gray area within the Grishaverse. And then she has this weird position within royalty, or kind of like the royal court, I guess. And so she seemed very captivating to me. I want to know more about her too, as opposed to Mal and Alina, our main characters. And I think also maybe something that would have aided in me connecting to the main characters, maybe if we had some alternating perspectives going on, because we're with Alina the whole time. And not that that's a bad thing, but it's just like, in order to feel connected to her, I don't know. I feel like if we had gotten some more chapters from Mal's perspective, that might have been cool, or even the Darkling. I don't know. I just felt like something else was needed to make me feel super connected to these characters. I do have a favorite scene from this book, and I think if I'm thinking it's gonna go where it's gonna go, it kind of matches up to what my scene to see was in my Shadow and Bone trailer reaction video, without giving too much away of how it goes down in the book, because I don't really know how it's gonna go down in the show. But there is a moment that happens in the fold with Alina, and she does something with her light power that was really cool, and honestly something I wasn't expecting her to do. It's like, whoa girl. And hopefully that same scene carries over onto the show. But that one, the scene, the way it goes down in the book, I was like, oh gosh, that was probably the one moment in the book where my mouth was like. So hopefully that happens in the show, and if it does, I'm really looking forward to it. But overall, the book was okay. And I don't want to bash it too hard, because I still haven't read the second and third. So as a series overall, I'm not going to speak to that. Just the first book was fine. Maybe the other books get better. I don't know. Am I going to read the other books? Maybe. I do know that the show is tying in some other books that are within the Grishaverse. Like there's a book, I think it's called Six of Crows, and I know that some characters from there are going to be in the Shadow and Bone TV show. So am I going to read Six of Crows? Probably not. But in terms of reading the other books in the series, possibly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have you read Shadow and Bone or any of the other books in the Grishaverse? What are you looking forward to seeing in the show, or any characters that you're looking forward to seeing in the show? Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye!